Alexa, can you tell me a joke, please?
Why is the Easter Bunny so lucky? He's got 2 rabbit's feet.
I didn't get that joke. I just asked my technological friend, Alexa, volume 7, please. I just asked my technological assistant, Alexa. I'm sorry.
No worries.
To tell me a joke. And, well, she told me a joke, but I didn't really find it that amusing. Of course, you can't replace human companionship with machine companionship. Well, in the future you might, but not now. There's a reason for this. We're just not used to it. We're not used to having intelligent machines around us. It's a phenomenon that's only been really apparent for the last decade or so. This whole smartphone phenomenon, carrying around with us this kind of second intelligence, secondary mind or brain. We're only still getting used to the implications of this. Who would have thought 10, 20 years ago that half of London would be walking around with these smartphone gadgets in their hands? These smartphones. There's nothing smart about them. Well, at least especially the people that use them all the time. I don't have a smartphone myself. But... So the reason I've decided to start these videos is because I'd like to communicate. I like to communicate with people out there, whoever they may be, just to see what they might think of my my output, my ideas. Because I'm writing a book at the moment. It's far from being published. I've almost completed it, about 3/4 of the way through. But we'll see if it gets published. But in the meantime, I'm making some videos, some YouTube videos. Maybe inspire some conversation, some debate. Because I think the most important phenomenon in the world today is technology. How it's making communication easier, but at the same time creating this kind of separation between people. How's that possible? The one at the same time, we have technology that's making communication easier, but at the same time you go out onto the street and you see people who aren't communicating with one another in that kind of shared public space. They're so absorbed in this technology. And because it's brilliant. Let's face it, this new technology is brilliant. There's no doubt about it. Innovation. I often wonder what the world would be like without this kind of technological innovation. What would it, like back in the 90s when this smartphone, as I keep calling it, there's nothing smart about it. When this smartphone didn't exist, how did we go about our daily lives? It was much easier, it's much simpler. I remember once sat on the bus and I was reading New Scientist magazine. This chap next to me just kind of looks across and goes, "What's that you're reading? New Scientist? That looks interesting. What are the latest developments in science and technology?" Nowadays, I'd be hooked into the... Well, I wouldn't, because I don't have one, but your man there'd be hooked into the smartphone, have no cause to start a conversation on the bus. But it has changed the world, and I'd like to think it's changed the world for the better, although there have been negative consequences. We live in a kind of artificial reality now as a result of all this technology. We live in this kind of virtual world. Now that might be kind of... You might think, oh, that's a bit... I'm going too far with that. No. I'm not. We are living in a virtual world now. We're living in a virtual world. Reality has nothing to do with what's going on in the world today. There is no reality. Nothing is real. Again, you might think I'm trying to be controversial for the sake of it, but I'm not. I honestly do believe that nothing is real anymore. What does that mean, that nothing is real? What is the real? Of course, the real world is out there. You step out onto the street and there's the real. The firmness of the pavement under your feet. That's proof that reality is out there. Touch, taste, smell, all the five senses. That as long as we have our five senses, then the real world is out there, you might say. But what if your five senses are now completely engaged with this technology, where you get your stimulus from the internet, from the web? Let's face it. What was the most exciting thing you found out recently? Was it from your neighbor? Did you have a conversation with your neighbor and find out something exciting about the world out there? No, it was on the web. Let's face it. It was the latest news, the latest fad, the latest commercial, the latest tidbit of information. That's where we get our information from the web. No longer from our fellow human being out there in the real world. They're uninteresting. We're all addicted, let's face it. We're all addicted to this realm of silicon. You have the organic carbon world, the world of life, the world of human beings, of nature, of animals, of plants. And you have this incredibly efficient world of nanotechnology and computer chips and hard drives and USB ports and Silicon Valley. You know, these computer giants, they're the ones that are driving the change today. These billion-dollar industrialists, these billion-dollar industrialists worth billions, like Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, the late Steve Jobs. Who knows? The list goes on and on. The guys who invented YouTube. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. I should be thanking them. Thank you. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you. Thank you, these innovators, these brilliant minds, these programmers. Without them, who knows where we'd be. So I've made this video in a way to try to communicate, to experiment with this new platform. Because I'm quite an old-fashioned person. I'm quite old-fashioned. I'm just interested to see if it'll get any responses. It's just an experiment as part of the book I'm writing. See if anyone thinks I've made any interesting points. Or if not, as the case may be. This technological realm, this realm of silicon, as I put it, of chips and processors and fast computing, smartphones, the internet, social networking. Has it made our lives any better? Has it actually made you any happier? Or has it just made time pass more quickly? Does it pass the time? Or does that enrich our lives? What places all these developments into context as developments in relation to artificial intelligence, as they call it? A kind of this belief system that one day man will be able to create intelligent life in the form of what they call robots. Have we all become like robots, and at the same time, as we become like robots, have we become more mechanistic in our social interaction? More transactional? When was the last time you had a deep and meaningful? Let's get some ideas out there. See if I get any responses. I wonder. I hope you do too. Over and out. Thank you for your attention. About to press stop.